Yeah.
How you doing, fellas?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Back with another episode.
Yes, sir. Episode 4. We here. Episode 4, Belligerent Brown Boys. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Sonny, Jag, Champ Bayless. We're back again to give you our useless thoughts and opinions on everything that's happening in the world. How you guys been?
Been good. Enjoying the hot weather we finally getting. Sports coming up to a wrap. Aside from the MLB, maybe a long summer.
Yeah, the hot weather, man. That 35 degrees today felt great.
Yeah. Hey, we're up in Canada. We don't get a lot of these 35 degree days, so
You gotta enjoy it while you can.
yeah.
I mean, we get like 11 months of winter a year. So
Sure feels like that.
So these 2 weeks of summer that we get, just take advantage of it as much as you can.
Yeah.
Why not? Again, a lot's happened. I think this is the same thing that we say every time, but a lot has happened since the last
I
episode.
feel like every time we're ready to record, there's some breaking news in the world of sports.
Always something. There was big breaking news today, but before we get into that, I want to ask you guys, did you see that video of that kid on the TTC shooting fireworks inside the bus?
I did not see that.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
I saw that. I don't know when it happened. I just saw that today.
Yeah, this happened, I think, maybe 2 days ago.
So
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
He had, I think it looked like a Roman candle,
Yeah.
and he's standing in the bus, just lights it, and just starts shooting it into the back of the bus. People are ducking, they're screaming, they're
It's
calling this
chaos,
guy an idiot.
madness.
like, man, look, we were all kids. We were all that age. But what some of these kids are doing right now, it is wild.
That's a mental break, isn't it? Like, what makes you think that's a good idea?
I think it's the pursuit for clout and going viral, which
Was
has
it-
become such a big thing.
Was it the guy recording like the video or his friends?
I think his
prob-
buddy,
It's probably his buddy.
his
yeah.
buddy was recording it, and then he's just like,
I think it's a nail on the head. It is clout. It is attention seeking, right? Like, a lot of this crazy behavior that we see can just be summed up by people trying to record it on video for some likes, some follows, and in a way, it's kind of currency these days.
yeah, it's crazy how like social media has moved at light speed since it became a thing.
Yeah.
And how like people trying to get viral, not like, I'm not putting this all on kids, like there's a lot of adults out there who do some really stupid stuff to go viral. But yeah, man, just imagine being on that bus and you're just looking up and there's Roman candles coming at your face.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it. That's crazy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. Kids,
Hey, feel free, guys. Definitely share some with us. I'd love to see some of these wild things on Instagram and social media, that you would classify as 10 out of 10, just straight up stupid.
yeah, like whatever kind of psychopathic behavior you see on social media. Let's take a look at this. I can't think of it. I mean, Toronto's been wild the last few months, and this is just it's just like, I hate to use the term as being normalized, but it's becoming a regular kind of occurrence.
I think so. I think it's been a couple of years. I think we saw we've seen some of this with all these TikTok challenges. Some of them that have gone terribly wrong.
Which one was the one from a couple of years ago where they're eating the Tide Pods?
Yeah. Yep.
Guy, you're eating Tide Pods.
I think that might be stupider than this fireworks kid.
What about?
Like, that's giving it a run for its money.
You remember when COVID hit and then people started licking toilet seats?
Yeah. We're laughing, but guys, this is like animalistic behavior. Like, what has human society become?
It's like there's a de-evolution happening.
Yeah, there definitely has been a de-evolution of the human mental state.
Like, what are you trying to get out of it? Like,
No, like Sunny said,
filming yourself doing that and then putting it online?
yeah, like Sunny said, I think chasing views, chasing likes, even if it's, we're calling it stupid behavior, it's still gonna trend. It's still gonna get likes. It's still gonna get attention.
That's the stuff that gets the most likes, though, right? It's
Yeah.
people slipping on ice and breaking their head, or some guy getting nut shotted, right? It's always something when you're scrolling through your timeline,
Yeah.
and you're seeing all these Oh yeah, you know, science article, science article, science article. Oh, somebody just broke their ankle. Let's check this out. I'm speaking for myself. I can't talk about anybody else, but I think that's kind of it. Right?
I think that's kind of built into our behavior. Kind of, I forgot what it's called. Like, you know, you see an accident and everybody just needs to stand and watch.
Yeah.
You know, we have that thing that we always do.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And then on the flip side of it, I don't know if you guys saw that article that I sent you yesterday about those scientists.
Yeah.
In, was it Switzerland?
Yeah, that's wild.
They helped that paralyzed guy get movement back in his legs using Bluetooth.
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's the kind of
technology
stuff
for you now.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you want to see.
You see, like the prosthetics now, like people can like move their fingers, you know, with their mind now, right?
Yeah,
all
like they're just thinking about it, and like the robot arms doing it.
Speaking of which, Neuralink is coming out for trials. It's been approved, so that's a big step for Elon Musk.
Okay. Here's the guy who's been giving us warnings about AI for the last 3 years. And now Neuralink is a thing.
It's his baby, man.
James Cameron has been warning us about this since 1990.
I think AI is a big topic we should definitely cover once, because I think we are right now in the race of AI, and that's where all the money is. That's where the money's going. I think all the people that are the naysayers, you got to be really careful, because at the end of the day, like, everybody's going to be working on their own, and everybody wants to bring that to market. Everybody wants to be the first. So as much as Elon gave that warning multiple times, you know, everybody knows he's working on it in his backyard every day. He's trying to perfect it before anybody else.
Yeah. Like we always joke about Skynet can happen, but the more and more I see the development of AI and what it's doing and how it's going down, I'm getting a little bit frightened at the thought of it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positive that can definitely come with it. Like you guys were talking about prosthetic limbs, you know, the things that it can be used for helping humanity, let's say, right? But there's obviously going to be a long learning curve. There's going to be a lot of, you know, people that use it for nefarious purposes, like with anything.
Yeah, any tech is vulnerable to that kind of stuff, right?
And there's probably going to be tons of, you know, iterations of this just to perfect it. And I think personally, as much as hype ChatGPT has brought up in the last year, I think we're still quite far away. A lot of what ChatGPT and these AI models do is they're literally just taking human, you know, our existing, let's say, you know, written work, our existing work that's uploaded to the internet, and kind of piecing that together. It's not really creating its own, right? It's taking pre-existing work, putting that together. Come on, my Google can't even do half the commands I tell it without me repeating it multiple times. Yeah, right. So I think there's still there's a long way to go, but yeah, it gets to be a slippery slope when, like, you know, you're talking about Skynet kind of type of AI.
Yeah. Like, you know, like those CAPTCHA things that you do when you try to log into a website or something.
Yeah.
That's CAPTCHA is basically teaching the AI.
Yeah, pretty much.
All
like
that,
patterns,
right?
recognizing patterns.
But anything with IT, like not even like all the way to like Skynet, like they're going to take over this, that. What is most scary is everything is moving online, and you see all these things like getting hacked, broken into. This is where I think the most danger is coming from, right? Like, imagine you have a limb and you can't control it on your own. What if someone else is controlling your limb, right?
Like even Neuralink. Like, what if Neuralink
bring it back to Neuralink. Like, that's right? Like, okay, if you guys, you know, there's going to be a trial, so the first human trials. Are you guys looking forward to signing up to be the first?
Hell no.
Never.
Right?
Never.
And I think some of it, and I don't, it's interesting. I'm sure there's going to be tons of thousands of people who want to be the first, but, you know, as a rule of thumb, you probably want to wait till 2-3 generations down before all the bugs are worked out. But yeah, there's always going to be, as humans merge with technology, there's always going to be the risk of, you know, nefarious people wanting to do, nefarious things.
Yeah, but before like the hype of Chat GPT took over, do you remember that interview that reporter did with the Google AI last year?
Yeah,
Where-
that was big news.
Yeah, where do you remember that?
I do. Yeah.
Where like the AI was talking about how it wants to feel
Yeah.
and it wants to like be something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon, but just even the thought of the AI having that kind of a thought process already.
But now you have to look at it as like what's real and what's not. Is it programmed to say that? Is it coming up on its own? Like, let's say you're saying there's so many companies and so many people that are going to be, I want to be the first, right? To create this intelligent AI. So what if I program something and make it seem intelligent, put on a show, right? Just to, so people can say I'm the first.
I think there's going to be some of that, right? I think there'll definitely be some of that, but I think that comes with any technology when there's an open market, and that's kind of the good thing about capitalism and stuff that we enjoy in especially in the West. Capitalism does bring competition, and however that competition evolves, hopefully you get the best product at the end of the day.
Yeah. Elon's bringing out Neuralink before he fixes Twitter. That's actually great.
Yeah, that is great.
Well, what needs to be fixed about Twitter? Really?
Nothing, man. Twitter's amazing.
Yeah, Twitter's just leave Twitter as it is. Like, I'm sure everybody's got 1,000 opinions about Twitter. He wants to make it a subscription service. This guy spent billions of dollars on this product, so obviously he wants to make some money back. But it's fine the way it is. Like, if you want to pay for a blue check mark, you pay for it, right? Twitter is what it is. It's been the same since day one. I think at least with Elon, we can, be more transparent with what's going on the actual platform, which is something we don't get with a lot of the other social media companies. And at the end of the day, everybody's sharing data. So, I don't know how much as much as, sometimes Elon comes out as this hero, I don't know how much he's really trying to, be the most transparent and, push freedom of speech. Like, at the end of the day, you're going to have, kind of guidelines for that, on any platform.
Yeah. Elon Musk is Lex Luthor.
That's awesome to think, isn't it?
Like, super rich guy, super smart dude. He's got access to everything that's happening. The guy's going into space already with SpaceX.
Yeah, I've heard him called the 21st century Iron Man, like today's Iron Man.
Hey, man, he could be Tony Stark too. But I'm gonna say more Lex. I'll lean to more Lex Luthor than Tony.
But
Stark.
yeah, so that's that brings it back to what I'm saying, right? It's interesting, like, which he can go either way on a lot of these technologies, on a lot of the work that he's doing, right? Like, some of us might find it, he's more like Lex Luthor, or he's more like Iron Man.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know Lex Luthor, I can't help you, man. I'm pretty sure you've seen a Superman movie or a cartoon or a comic book or a toy.
If I were going to ask you, what do you think the best version that they've ever done about Lex Luthor? Either comics, live TV, movies.
The best version of Lex Luthor.
Like, if we were going to tell fans to go out, guys, check this out if you really want to understand the character, the person that is Lex Luthor.
Don't watch Man of Steel.
Definitely not like one of the movies.
Yeah, don't stay away from Man of Steel. Man of Steel was the one with, what's his name? The Jesse Eisenberg or whatever his name is?
Yeah, was he introduced in Man of Steel though? He was, right?
He was.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Or was it Superman Returns?
No.
Superman Returns for sure. No, he was in Man of Steel.
He was.
Man
He's
of Steel,
Zack
right?
Snyder's.
He's Snyder versus Luthor.
Yeah, Snyder versus Luthor.
Yeah, he had the long hair and then he ended. Okay, yeah, so it was Man of Steel. Don't watch that. The Justice League cartoon Luthor wasn't that bad.
I liked it a lot.
That was gonna be my first.
lot.
That was gonna be my first option. I was gonna say the Justice League animated series is probably one of the best versions of who Lex Luthor as a character is and who he is in the DC universe. I think it's definitely worth checking out.
He doesn't have a really big role in the Injustice games, but they did a really good job with him in Injustice too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Injustice was really good. Yeah, Luthor, man, Elon Musk, these guys. Right. But also, okay, let's just get into it. Breaking news from today. A new era in Leafland. And if you guys don't know, Scotiabank Center is going to be renamed Boston Pizza Place.
No.
No, I'm just joking.
Okay. We gotta get some of these crazy advertised names of these sports arenas. Just enough of them.
The reason I said that was because Tree Living, who's the new GM,
yeah,
his dad's the Boston Pizza guy.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so
I didn't know that.
He started the Boston Pizza chain.
Oh, okay.
So we might get a Boston Pizza inside Scotiabank.
Oh, Scotiabank. Yeah, I was gonna call it ACC.
Yeah, it's the ACC. We all know what it is. Rogers Center's this guy. We all know. Yeah, it's fine.
It's an interesting move. I don't know how successful was his work with the Calgary Flames, right? I think that's out for debate. It's a change. It's a new philosophy he's probably gonna bring in. Do you think he keeps the coach?
Nope.
No. Whenever you get a new GM, I feel like you have to replace the coach.
You think he's gonna do that before the season, or he gives him the year?
You have to do it before the season.
Yeah. There's no point in keeping this guy around just to can him in December.
Unless you have a plan to, like, let's say, tank and get a player and then fire him after you get that player, or once you get that pick, then that makes sense. But where the Leafs are, it doesn't make any sense. If you're like a bottom team and you get a new GM and you're trying to build up, then maybe you keep a coach around just to take all the blame kind of thing. But in the position the Leafs are in, he's going to can the coach.
Yeah. You think before draft? Or is that too early?
I think it's
When's the draft?
I think it's too early. A draft is probably right after the Stanley Cup Finals, right?
He's going to do it before the
end of June. You know what? Before the draft. From what I've seen and what most teams do, I think guys come in and they usually take a year to kind of feel out the process, what they have. Like, you think this guy's going to come in 1 month and know what he needs to do?
But the Leafs aren't in a position to wait a year and see what this team does.
Fair. That's why I asked the question. I totally agree with that. I don't think they are.
In my opinion,
I think the pressure's on him.
In the next couple weeks, even if we don't have a head coach, I think we're going to get rid of our head coach. I think that change is going to be made. And whoever comes in might take a while, but before the season starts, obviously, right?
So you don't see Keith there in July at all?
No.
Okay. All right.
You know what? If I was the guy coming, if I was in his shoes, I'd probably do what Jack said. I'd probably make the changes as fast as it could, get all my ducks lined up with the guys I want in place before the season. And I don't know why more teams and guys coming into this role do that.
Now, I didn't follow this story much, but was there a reason why they kind of went hard for this guy, or? Because he didn't really do anything with Calgary either, right? What, they had a couple of 100-point seasons. They
had a couple of good years, but yeah, it didn't end up in real true success.
Second round once, I think.
Yeah.
And like they were talking about it today, and the situation that he's coming into now with the Leafs is the exact same situation he was with the Calgary last summer.
Oh yeah.
When you had Gaudreau and Kachuk,
guys coming off the books,
right?
Yeah.
And then they lost both of them, and now this guy's coming in, and now you have Matthews, Nylander. These guys are coming up.
Yeah, and those decisions didn't turn out good for Calgary, that's for sure.
Oh man, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this guy's kind of back where he was last year, but now I feel the stakes are higher.
I think they're much higher when you're in the center of the hockey universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they went so hard for this guy. Especially his track record, it's not your top 5 guys probably on the list.
If the reports are true and it came down to him and Bergevin, I think they made the smarter choice going with him, because Bergevin probably would have set that place on fire.
No, but see, that's what it comes down to. Who's available?
Yeah.
Right? And you want to make a decision sooner than later.
I'll be honest. if I'm looking at this now in retrospect, I think they screwed up. I think they should have just gone with what they had.
Kept Dubas?
Yeah, totally kept Dubas.
They should have.
I don't think this is a big upgrade over Dubas.
I think there might have been too much between Shanahan and Dubas. Like we talked about it last episode, I think, but it just between those two guys, there was just too much tension.
Yeah, because I think actually Shanahan's just covering his ass because he's the one that really needs to go. And I don't think many people talk about it, but he's had this job for quite a while now. And, you know, as much as you want to fire other guys, blame other guys, you know, he's been kind of the head of the snake. So, you know, when's his time come up?
If I'm going to be honest, I am fine with changing the GM, changing the coach, and running it back.
Yeah, I don't think they have a choice. I think with the salary cap the way it is.
But as a Leafs fan, I'd be more optimistic for that happening rather than making a bunch of moves to change the roster.
So let me ask you guys as Leaf fans, all things considered with what happened with this guy last year in Calgary and just Gaudreau and Tkachuk just saying peace. Do you have any... Are you feeling are you feeling uncomfortable about him having to deal with like Matthews and Nylander situation? Or are you confident this guy's going to make something happen?
I wasn't too happy how Dubas dealt with it, so I don't believe this is going to be much worse. Like, I don't think he can do a worse job than I thought they originally did with the Tavares, Nylander, you know, Marner, Matthews. Like, their contract situation, they messed that up from day one.
I used to knock that too, but they were operating under the assumption that the cap was going to go up. If COVID didn't happen, I don't think they'd be in that situation that they're in right now, because COVID just stopped the cap flat, bang, and that put them in a rough spot.
Fair enough, but
again, even if COVID wasn't a thing, I don't think you still have that much of space to work with regardless, but COVID did have a hand in it.
For sure, but let's say, you know, okay, we're fine with those deals. I don't think Tree Living coming in, you know, he's going to, you know, make worse deals than the ones that they were already on. It'll be interesting to see for sure, right? Like, obviously, you know, the players are probably in a much different mindset today than they were back then, right? The Leafs have had continuous failures year after year now. So, you know, do they want to be totally here 100%?
I'm not so afraid of the players leaving. I think in hockey, for the Maple Leafs, I think getting players and, you know, like players leaving on their own, or that's something I'm not afraid of, because there's not a lot of cities to choose from that you really, really want to go to, right? I think Leafs are a big destination. They're a big city, right? In other sports like NBA, let's say, right? Who really wants to come to Toronto when you can be in LA, Miami, all these other places, right? You're going to get the money, you're going to get the tax benefits, all that stuff, right? But when you have so many Canadian cities, and then you have like us as being such a big market, I don't think losing players or getting players, I think it'll just come down to like money and stuff like that, right? And I think hockey players are more reasonable, right? And they would play here.
So do you think these guys, like the players, they hold any leverage going into July? Or do they understand what the situation is and they're probably going to work with them?
I think that comes down to how much they want to win. Like, you know, we all wish we had guys like Tom Brady. You know, I'm pretty sure Patrick Mahomes is going to do the same, right? The echelon of the top, you know, the guys that are, you know, either the GOAT or at that level. These guys want to win, so they're willing to sacrifice money. They know they're going to get money from their sponsors, from sponsorships. So money's never going to be an issue. They want to be winners. So to have guys like that is a big advantage. And I don't know, like, well, I think we're going to find out what these guys want to do, right? If they're asking for more dollars and, you know, taking the Leafs to the max, they should understand that's going to affect the culture and the chances of winning as a team, right? They're going to have a direct influence on that. So, you know, I think that'll speak a lot about the players too. And I think if I'm gonna be fair, I think with this new management, like they have to be aware of that, and you can't just give the players what they want, because like it hasn't worked. Like we've literally in the past 5 years we've done that.
But generally, in all sports, players will always want to maximize what you make as a player, and
I hear that, but you gotta balance
there,
that. You gotta balance that with wanting to win.
But who out there is taking pay cuts?
Not a single guy.
What about the guys in Tampa? How does Yzerman do it?
Okay, and
I get it, fair that before you guys say it, I know I'm stating the obvious. Zero tax in Florida. I get it. But he manages to keep this team together in Tampa. Guys take pay cuts because it's the culture. They want to win. They have a winning atmosphere and a winning program, like organization.
But that's where I was going to go with it. I was going to say you need a winning culture. You need either the coach or a player. You need leaders. You need a good structure there for people to want to take a pay cut. Why would a player come to the Leafs and say these guys are not winning, right? These guys finally made it out of a first round, and I'm going to take a pay cut and hope others take pay cuts with me to try to win?
He's got a point.
No, I'm not arguing that, right? But I think, again, I'm not advocating that they do it, but if they want to win, it's part of the formula. We've seen other guys do it.
I think that we're putting too much onus on the players when it comes to taking a pay cut. That is not their job to take pay cuts. Their job is to maximize how much money they get.
Well,
and whoever they play with,
okay.
And whoever they play with, right? Then it's their job, like with their coach, to get it done on the ice, right? But putting that team together and making sure.
So they put a great team together. They had a chance to get to the Cup Final this year, and they decided not to show up against Florida. That's on the players, not management.
But that's going to be management's job to tell them otherwise, right? Like if Austin goes up to them, he's like, all right, man, I want 14 million.
Yeah, so
right? They're going to have to be like, why?
So you make, oh no, okay, that's fine. So you got to decide which guys you're willing to do that with.
Yep.
And which guys you have to be like, okay, we got to cut bait.
Yeah, no, but that's why I say it's not on the player. The player's job is to maximize his income, right? And if the Leafs say, hey,
guys,
I'm
look,
not giving
I'm
you
not
14,
I'm not
but
debating.
there's another 30, like 29 teams that will.
I'm not debating that guys shouldn't ask for what they're worth, like we all should in what we do. But again, there's also an opportunity cost and a cost for winning. So either you have guys who are willing to pay that cost or you don't. So yeah, there's no argument that guys should ask for whatever their value is. But again,
it's really hard.
They also should understand they influence their chances of winning by putting a team to the cap.
It's really hard to find those examples in sports though, like even outside of Brady. You don't see it in the NBA.
You don't see it?
You don't see it in, well, I mean, MLB doesn't have cap, so it doesn't really matter. But like with Brady, I could be wrong on this, but he took the pay cuts, but the bonuses that he got were stupid money too, right?
No, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, but I'm only talking about that top echelon of players, right? Do we not think Austin Matthews is that echelon of players? He is getting money from sponsors.
Okay, he's in his prime, so he's probably going to try to maximize what he can. A guy like Crosby, who's been there, done that, but he's still elite, I can see him being like, all right, I'll take the pay cut.
Sorry about that, folks. They had some audio issues there.
All right. Yeah, so go back to the point that you were making.
I think with the Leafs, I'm going to leave it where it is. Like, they're in a situation where either guys take some pay cuts or management has to change this roster. Because there's not much flexibility if there isn't money moved around. And the big four are pretty much eating up the entire cap. So I don't really know what Treeley is coming in to do. So he's going to have to make some tough decisions when it comes to at least the big four.
He's coming into a dumpster fire. No, like, and I'm not even saying it as like a jab to the Leafs, but the situation surrounding that team and what this guy's coming into, I don't envy him. It
don't.
sucks for him.
Yeah. It's gonna be a tough situation, right? It's almost a no-win situation unless there's success in the playoffs, right? Getting to a cup finals or winning the cup is pretty much what he's gonna be rated of, right? So if his success is basically tied to a cup.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The pre-draft is gonna be wild for you guys with what's gonna happen.
Some exciting times coming up for Leaf fans.
All right. Yeah, well, we're gearing up for the cup final. It's a thing. The Panthers and the Golden Knights.
There's the Golden Knights' second cup final in 5 years. How do you like
amazing.
that? An
You know,
expansion team.
The fans in Vegas deserve it, man. They've been through a lot.
Yeah. Those guys been through a lot, man. They finally got a team, and look at the success that's followed. You know what? I give the franchise all the credit. They've been bold. They've made trades. I think there's only 4 or the 6, right? There's, I think, 6 guys who have stuck together since the last.
I think it's less, man. I think it's only like 3 or 4 guys.
It might be 4. Yeah, it might just be the 4 guys that have carried over to this team. So they've, you know what? They've taken chances. They've really pretty much rebuilt the team. And it's going to be an interesting cup final. I'm leaning Florida just because I think Matthew Tkachuk has been all world and likely the MVP of the playoffs.
Guys.
So it's going to be interesting.
My guy Bobrovsky, guys.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was gonna say it seems like destiny just because of him. The way that he's been playing lights out.
Bobrovsky's on a heater.
Yeah, he's definitely been the backbone, but yeah, it's tough with hockey. That's a tough thing. You're not winning with no goaltending, so goaltending obviously stands out. But I think Matthew Tkachuk's play and his overtime winners and his clutch goal scoring, just as a leader, has been such a shift in this team from, yes, they won the President's Choice last year, but what changed? Like, it's like they flipped a switch, and he's the biggest piece they brought in, aside from goaltending. So, you know, I think they're going to finish it.
I think Golden Knights are the favorites. I have them winning right now.
Just on a hunch, or you're basing it on something?
I just think the way that they play, I think you crack them in one game, you win like 4-1, and then you blow it wide open.
Yeah. Remember how early on we talked about Carolina looking unbeatable? And then Florida just made them look like chumps?
Yeah.
Right? Vegas has the potential to make the Panthers look like chumps.
I think so. I like you guys are talking about Bobrovsky. Like, can he keep it up? Like, when does he become the old guy? Right? Like what we're used to seeing.
No, I think he'll play well, but
Vegas
has
firepower for sure. I'll give you that.
I just like the way Vegas has been playing. I had them last series. I had them the series before. I think
what they did to Dallas in that last game.
Yeah. You know what? I had Dallas coming out of that series because I thought they had a really they had a good back end that could carry them. And, I just, Ottinger had a horrible series. He had a couple good games, but he had a tough series. And I think, like Jack says, Vegas was just, I was kind of surprised as a whole, but Vegas is well built from the back through their top 6, through their top 4 lines, actually. They got toughness, they got goal scoring. They're a really balanced team.
Their forecheck is just like Florida's forecheck.
Yeah.
This series is going to be a grind.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see like 5-4, 4-3. These are going to be like 2-1, 3-1 games.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so, man.
I think we may get 1 or 2 games where just the floodgates open, because I think both teams can get to a place where they can both score if they can really open up the game.
If one of the goalies gets shelled early, then yeah, I can kind of see it. But just I'm vibing towards just a really grind it out
Take the under, boys.
3-2 games.
Take the under.
2-1 games.
Quad overtime.
Quad overtimes, 5 overtimes, man. Ocho overtime, whatever, man.
You gotta love the NHL though. The overtime in the playoffs. I don't think there's anything more exciting in sports than an overtime playoff game.
Man, I remember in high school, I think it was Washington and Pittsburgh. They went to like 5.5 overtimes.
Damn.
It was 2 a.m. I could barely stay up. And they finally ended it. I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of wild.
Maybe at that point, you're just wishing it ends.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, when you sat there for that long, you've invested this much of your time watching this game. You're in the 5th overtime. You're not going to sleep.
Yeah, when you get to overtime, especially like a second overtime, every shot you're looking at, like, is that in? Is that in?
Yeah.
Right? And if you're rooting for that team, it's like a heart attack almost every single time, right?
That's the really exciting thing, because you get to that point where it's just like, it's probably not even going to be a perfect shot. It's going to be some greasy bounce off some guy's ass, off the skate.
And for the most part, it usually ends up that way.
That's probably how it is.
Yeah. A quick shout out to Charles Barkley. I just want to bring this up. This guy's done more for the freaking NHL in what? It's the first year. I believe it's the first year on TNT.
TNT, yeah.
And this guy's done more for the NHL and marketing this sport than this whole league has done, I swear, in the past 2 decades.
When you've got a league that's so tone deaf and disconnected with their fan base.
Seriously.
Right? It's not that hard to kind of take it into your hands and do it yourself. Remember when, was it this, not this All-Star, last year, Kid Rock?
Yeah, I remember him. I don't know.
When they had Kid Rock performing? Who listens to Kid Rock in the 2020s that you're like, hey, man, the kids are going to like this?
Yeah, this league is totally disconnected.
There's a lot of work to be done if they want to grow their fan base.
But you know what? The TNT panel, I know Gretzky's on there, like, Charles, like, they've done a great job. I watched a few of their broadcasts, especially in the playoffs. You know, it's a great start to, hopefully turning the page and
I will say this. I watched Gretzky broadcast a little bit. He is not good.
Yeah, he's
not good.
Yeah, but the panel around him is
not
so
a good analyst.
They literally carry him.
You know who's a natural? Messier.
Yes.
Messi is born.
Moose is a natural. That guy has it, man. Remember he used to do the Lay's commercials back in the day?
Yeah, pull those up, guys, on YouTube.
Yeah, watch Messi and Lay's commercials. They're hilarious. Chelios isn't bad, but Gretzky just doesn't. He doesn't have the. It's weird though, because when you see that commercial that he did with McDavid for MGM betting,
that you actually
he's actually showing some like charisma.
Yeah, you see a little emotion. You see what he's capable of.
But I guess when you're live in front of
I don't think he's just comfortable with like analyzing the game, and the way he sees it. It just, I don't know. I guess maybe a little bit old fashioned.
All right, here's a question for you. Who's probably the best athlete turned sportscaster that you think?
Guys,
you know what? The TNT panel.
Give it up to
all of them.
Shaq, Chuck,
Kenny, Chuck.
Yeah.
Like these guys are the gold standard for entertainment. Like, you want to watch sports, you want to have analysis, you want to have fun, you want to have entertainment. Like, these guys do it all.
Yeah, they're hilarious, man.
And with them, there's no real agenda, right? They just...
Yeah, you'd never feel like there's a narrative. They're trying to tell a story. Like, they're just naturally...
I think Kenny tried to do it once. During the bubble, was it? When he walked off set? I forgot. During one of, like, the Black Lives Matter or something. I forgot. There was something he walked off.
Oh, I think it was because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was...
At that time, maybe. And then, there's stuff. But even then, it's like... It's not like they deliberately try to follow an agenda, like a political agenda.
They talk to the camera like they're talking to their boys.
Yeah. And I think that's like, they come off so natural, and obviously they have great relationships, so that helps. But just on top of with regards to narratives, I think that applies to sports as well. Like all these talk shows, First Take, First Things First, Skip, like these guys are all creating narratives. And why I love the panel is they call players out. Like, they don't have an issue. If they see something, they call it out. They're not trying to sell a narrative.
After
and it never
that-
feels that way.
After that Boston game, the way that they shredded that entire team up, it was great.
It was gold, man.
It was so
The
good.
Boston Celtic tears, gotta love it. Us Toronto fans always love seeing any Boston franchise.
You know what? As much as, like, you know, in the hockey world, the Leafs are hated. I think just in the world in general, Boston sports is pretty much hated.
It's so easy to hate them because they've had it so good for so long.
Yeah, they've had decades of success. I think that's where part of it comes from. Like
the Bruins kept winning, the Patriots kept winning.
Yeah.
Celtics have that one that they're never gonna let go of.
Yeah.
Even their soccer team, I think Revolution won a couple too.
Yeah, and they're always good, right? They're always at the top
Red
of
Sox?
the leagues. Yeah, the Red Sox. Let's not forget about their championships.
Yeah.
So they've had a lot of success. So, that's part of the hate.
Yeah. Also, their fans are very easy to hate too, though. They're not good fans.
Yeah,
they're
alright.
up there with like Philly
fans?
Yeah, I was gonna say Philly fans, man. But that city's in shambles, bro. You have the Bruins that had the greatest regular season in the history of the NHL. Then you have the Celtics who had a phenomenal regular season, heavy favorites going into the
Music to our ears, guys.
Oh yeah, man, the Schadenfreude is great.
Where does that team go though? The Celtics now.
Yeah, they're done, man. Brown's gone.
I think you
Horford's
gotta.
probably gone. Do you really keep Smart around?
Smart's gone.
You think Smart's gone too?
I think so.
You guys are talking about a full blow up here.
Brown, he has 1 year left.
Brown's gonna ask for
He's been-
250 million, and they're not gonna
Yeah.
give him.
I think Brown should leave. I think that's in his best interest. I just think like there's something off with this team. I kind of compare it back to the Leafs, right? Like you have your core, which just doesn't gel or does something seems off.
I think what it is with Jaylen Brown, he seems like a guy that he would take somewhat of a pay cut, not get the Superman, if he was respected there from the beginning. Being in trade rumors year after year, right? That I think really put, because he said it. He's come out in an interview and said like he just wants respect, right? And if Boston showed him respect, right, then I think he would stay. Now I don't think, unless they pay him, I don't see any way of him staying.
Because if you're Boston, you put everything on Tatum, right? Tatum's gonna be the poster boy. He's gonna be our guy, whatever. But Brown ended up being the most consistent dude they had.
I don't know.
Even better at some point, don't you think?
So during the season, I was definitely on that boat where I'm like, Jaylen Brown, he is more consistent than Tatum because Tatum's jacking up threes. If Brown is taking like 3 to 5 threes, he's not very efficient. So if he's taking 3 to 5, I'm fine with it. But he's always driving, getting those foul calls, and in the mid-range, he's really, really good. In the playoffs, he went away from that. And that's what I really couldn't understand, especially in the second half where there's so many games where he just wasn't getting any touches. And I don't know if that's a coaching thing that you don't get him the ball, or that's a Tatum thing saying, I want the ball.
We were having this discussion about Embiid last round too, right?
And I will also say, before we move on to that, not only Jaylen Brown, they have so many guys that shoot, like Brogdon, Smart, right, Derek White, and they were all hitting shots. I'm not going to say they shouldn't be touching it, but when you have so many mouths to feed, it's tough. I feel like a team that goes through 2 primary guys and then, have role players, I think Smart, Brogdon, and Derek White, they were more than role players. Without them, like, they were hitting everything at one point. Like, one series, it's like Brogdon scoring 15, Smart scoring 15, hitting every 3, right? In the last series, Derek White was hitting everything, right? So
we're talking about a team here who's almost made it to back-to-back finals, right? So I don't think they're going to blow it up. But I think the coach is probably going to be gone.
Well, let's be honest.
You can't have a rookie coach in back-to-back years.
He wasn't supposed to be the coach anyway.
Fair enough, right?
Like,
fair enough.
Udoka was the coach at the beginning of the year, and then
surprisingly, I don't think they're gonna get rid of him now.
Mazzulla?
Yeah, I don't think they're getting rid of him. I think he stays. I definitely don't think that team stays what it is. And if it does stay what it is, it's gonna be one of those mid-season, see where they are.
Man, I'll be shocked if Missoula's back.
I think
shocked.
coming back from 3-0 is what
Saved his
kinda
job.
saved him. Yeah,
You know what would be the best thing for us? If Budenholzer goes out.
I'd love that. I'd love that. I'd
Just-
really love that.
just to add more, gas to the fire. Let's see
let's
that
do
go
it.
up in flames with that guy. Man, our boy, Nick Nurse.
Nick Nurse chose the
He chose
76ers.
them over Phoenix.
I totally
Yeah.
see it. I totally see it, guys. Like, let's call it what it is. Kevin Durant is on a decline in his career. He's on the back end of
I wouldn't
his
say decline.
career.
I think it's more risky going to Phoenix because you don't know what Durant's gonna do.
Fair,
Yeah.
but I also saw a Durant in this playoffs. He was healthy. So let's not talk about like he wasn't healthy. He was healthy.
Oh, he's always
And
healthy.
he
No,
was
I'm-
not the same player.
What?
There was something missing in his game where
He wasn't as efficient, but he was coming off an injury. I think he's gonna be the same player, great player, top 5 player going into next season.
But what's going to be around him? Outside
That-
of Booker.
That we'll see. Ayton has to go.
Aiton's gone.
yeah, I think Ayton's gone for sure.
I think CP3 has to go, but there's just so much money on the books with him.
I think also Nick Nurse has a pre-existing relationship. He was the G League coach in Houston when who's their GM? Who's the Sixers GM now? What?
Colangelo?
No,
Oh, it's not Colangelo.
It's not. We wish it was
that ended in flames.
What year am I living in right now? Oh,
Daryl Morey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have a pre-existing relationship, which is probably part of the reason. Plus, he's in the East. He gets to stay in the East. Everybody was dissing the West for what, half a year, and they're looking like the West is stacked again.
You know what? There's one little part of me that thought, I'm like, this is a FU to the Raptors being like, I'm going to come in there and I'm going to win.
Probably.
You think
You
so?
know, it was just a thought that crossed my mind.
Is
I'm
this
just like,
the Dwayne
Hey, man.
Casey syndrome?
I wish him success, to be honest. I loved him as a coach.
I did too.
So
I did too.
it was sad to see him go.
Yep.
Maybe it is a little bit of an FU if he
Yeah.
does pull off a chip.
But we knew that was coming though. Like Nurse not being here anymore.
Yeah.
Get ready to see Embiid play 47 and a half minutes a game now.
See, no, that's also one of those things where I saw so many of those comments and posts, people saying, he's just going to pay his starters. With the Raptors, what do you really want Nurse to do? Like, what guys do you want to rotate in? Like, do you want to give Trent a lot more minutes? Like, what is he? Like, at the end of the day, he's trying to win, and you got to put...
Yeah, I don't put a
players
lot of the
out there.
Raptors season on just Nick Nurse because I don't think top down this franchise knew what they wanted to do this year.
And I will say one more thing. Everyone complains about minutes, right? Those people are a part of the problem because we always say it's like a soft league, and not playing minutes, like, oh, he should play 40 minutes, not 45 a night. He should play 38, not 45 or 42, right?
Yeah, we're in a
Like-
weird state with sports, eh? Like, load management and then fans and we're all judging how much guys play.
Like when Kawhi was there, he was load managed. If Embiid needs to be load managed, you don't think he's going to load manage him? If he's 100% and able to play, it doesn't matter if you play every single minute of the game if you're able to do it. If you're a young guy able to do it, healthy, then what's the problem?
I think the criticism that Nurse faced here especially is people knew that we weren't going to do anything, but they still pushed for something. And I think that's where the disconnect between him and Ujiri happened, where Ujiri wanted these guys to get minutes so they can develop. But
Yeah.
Nurse was like, nah, man, we're good with
But-
these 6 guys. We're going to go run.
But I
it,
think
right?
that goes back to what I was talking about. This franchise did not have an agreement of where they wanted to go.
That's the problem.
Because if you look on paper, what the Miami was 3 minutes away from losing to the Chicago Bulls. Now they're in the NBA Finals. Right? They were about to lose in the playoffs. 3 minutes left. And I could have seen the Raptors pulling this off. They're monsters defensively. And I think Nick Nurse as a coach coached them up. I think they had potential. I just, they didn't make the right moves at the trade deadline, and that push and pull between management and the coach, I think ultimately is, like Sonny, you said, I think writing was on the wall, throughout at least half later on in the season that he was leaving.
Yeah, the philosophies were completely different.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. I think that when you have, even us, we were arguing about, they should do this, they should get rid of him, they shouldn't bring him in, right? Whether, like, the fans are split. Like, okay, do you blow it up, play Scotty, develop him, and we're in a rebuild? Or why are we trading for, Poulter, and are we trying to go for it? Like, what does he do, right? As the coach, you're just trying to win, right? And if there's a disconnect, if you tell Nick Nurse, like, hey, we're in a rebuild, this is what we're going for, and there's an agreement and he's not doing it, then okay. But
yeah, it's hard to know, like what
it's
goes
hard
on
to
behind
say.
the scenes.
It's hard to say anything about this team because we're arguing about it, and then I'm pretty sure there was disconnect, with Masai, Nick Nurse, what they want to do with the team as well, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was something, man. What's up with MLSE and just like this tension between like management and lower management and coaching?
I feel like that's
Jeez,
just
man.
a Toronto thing. I feel like growing up, every franchise in Toronto had this same revolving door of issues.
I'm just glad that this is all happening because there's not that many eyes on TFC and what's going on with them right now. Man, not good. What's up with MLS and putting all their games on Apple TV?
Yeah, you were just mentioning that. This is a big move by a lot of sports. I know they were dabbling in Amazon, YouTube. I can't believe they just went up and just put their entire schedule on Apple TV.
Yeah, man. I think I've seen maybe 4 TFC games on TV this year.
Wow.
It's wild. And didn't who just signed that stupid mega deal with the NFL for that one game? Oh man, they paid a dumb price for, I think it was a Thursday nighter or something.
Damn. Amazon already has it. Didn't Amazon already have? They have Monday night.
Man, I could be wrong.
Amazon does Prime does one of the games, and it may have been just a re-up.
Yeah,
with
I don't
Amazon.
know. Like the NFL's got that much power over like these networks and streaming.
No, but that's
platforms and
the
stuff.
ratings they bring in, right?
Yeah.
So for the Apple TV thing with the MLS is, are there other networks probably aren't fighting, right? Because the ratings aren't there, so they're just like, you can have.
And I
it.
think
Yeah,
the MLS is more regional, anyways. Like I think TFC games have a pretty passionate fan base.
Like TFC, Vancouver, Montreal, their games in Canada are national games.
Yeah.
So they're across the country. Yes, in the States they are regionalized, but ESPN did have national games for MLS. Now, if you're the MLS, let's be honest, you're 5th or 6th biggest league in North America,
Yeah.
right? And you're trying to get your product out there. You're not doing it by putting everything on Apple TV.
Yeah. Like for the long term, that's not beneficial
Yeah.
for the sport. That's
especially with these guys. Like with Canada Soccer, they signed this deal with One Soccer. So it's like it's a soccer streaming platform app, right?
Yeah.
They signed this deal before the men's national team started kicking ass and started qualifying for World Cups and became really popular. Canada Soccer needs to hire the best lawyers they can and get themselves out of that One Soccer deal. Because if these Canada Soccer games are not on TV and no one's watching,
Yeah, that's a
they're
big
missing.
problem.
There's kids who know who Alfonso Davies is now.
Yeah.
They know who Jonathan David is. They know
Yeah.
who these guys are. And if they're not able to watch this on TV when like the next Canada game is going to be, that sucks.
That's totally disappointing, especially with the recent success. And you feel like you're on this arc that's just going up on Canada soccer, and just Canadian soccer in general had such a big growth in the past decade. And this is a huge step backwards.
Yeah, they got to get out of this, man. Find some crazy lawyers to get yourself out of this contract. Or TSN, jump in and buy One Soccer and just put all the games on TSN.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm actually really surprised. Who had the contract before? Sportsnet that was showing all the games?
Sportsnet used to show a lot of Canada soccer before, and then they kind of moved away from it. Sportsnet at one point had everything. They had EPL, they had Serie A.
It's really Canada interesting soccer. With the multicultural city that we're in, and Canada in general becoming more and more multicultural, that soccer is huge. Like soccer, I think they get great numbers for the EPL games. On
the power of soccer is so big that people don't have a problem paying for the platform that these games are on.
Maybe that's the idea, right? Then.
Yep. EPL used to be on Sportsnet proper.
Yeah.
It was great. Then it moved out. It ended up on TSN. Sportnet split it.
Yeah.
Then it went on to DAZN.
That's where it is now, right?
That did piss a lot of people off. But guess what? Everyone got DAZN. Yeah. Why? Because they want to watch the Prem. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
It's not even on DAZN anymore. It's on Fubo now.
Oh, is it?
Right? It's on Fubo. Guess what? Everyone's got a Fubo subscription now because they want to see the Prem.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's the Premier League, right? The MLS, like, they should understand. Like,
no, see, that's
they're
where
far from that level.
That's where I say when you're bringing in the number and you're bringing in the people, then people are gonna fight over that contract, right? Yeah. We want it, right?
Yeah.
But even if you're MLS and Apple TV came to you and like, hey, we're gonna give you X dollars for this contract, aren't you thinking, yeah, but no one's gonna watch it. No one has Apple TV, right?
We gotta look into. I gotta look into that. How many people actually are watching Apple? Yeah. Like for me, that's what I think. I'm like, I know nobody that really watches Apple TV, right? But they must have a significant number.
You can't compare it to like the national audience,
Yeah.
So I think Sportsnet comes with a basic package. So you got a national broadcast versus Apple TV.
Yeah. What about IPTV?
What's that?
Yeah, I've never even heard of that.
I mean, that's changed the game too, man. But
I just think with IPTV and people just illegally streaming, right? These games.
Yo, speaking of illegally streaming, did you guys see Mark Cuban's tweet yesterday?
No, what was it?
No, was it yesterday or the day before? Oh, he's like, who's watching the basketball game, right? And are you watching on an illegal stream? Please quote tweet. Right? Because he's like, I want to see what's the difference between people illegal streaming and people are like, okay, look, narc.
Oh yeah,
right. Like he's the Fed. He's trying to get all call people out, trying to say.
What a setup!
And everyone's like, not this time.
Everyone called him up.
Yeah, he got called out. He got roasted in the quote tweets. You got to see it, man. It was hilarious. Like, why would you come on Twitter and be like, hey man, who's watching this illegally?
Yeah.
It was like when Dana White had that video where he's like, I'm gonna come to your house and like beat you up or whatever.
At least with Dana,
no, that was great content.
Yeah, that was great content for the UFC, right? He's entertaining.
No, but now anytime I hear other people, obviously I don't stream, but anytime I do hear people that stream, their streams go down. What do they say?
Oh, they're like, Dana got me.
Yeah, Dana got
he's
him,
become
right?
a meme.
Yeah,
he's totally become a meme.
Do you remember? There was also that guy. He went on Twitch, but then he was wearing glasses that were super reflective, and then he was watching the UFC, so people could watch the UFC through his glass.
Yep. Or someone pretending to play the UFC
and they were
game
pretending to play
and streaming.
Yo, man, people are hilarious. That's good stuff, man. But
when there's a will, there's always a way.
Yeah, that was jokes. Dana White, man. I didn't catch the first episode of Tough. Did you guys watch it?
I just watched some highlights. I didn't watch the full episode yet.
How was it? You guys got a chance to check it out?
I didn't watch it at all. I'm
gonna be watching it.
No, well, we'll review it maybe in a couple episodes. We'll all get a chance to check it out.
Yeah, the only thing I saw last night on it was like Connor's face to face with Buddy at the end of it, which they always do at the end of every first episode of Tough. What's the greatest season of Tough? The one that had you hooked.
I'd say one of the first.
There's one that stands out to me.
I'm a pass on this.
I just loved all the first few seasons.
The one that got me was
which one?
Rampage and Rashad. When Rampage beat the shit out of the door.
Yeah.
That
when
one,
you, oh yeah,
that one was
that's
great.
iconic. That's
Yeah.
iconic.
That one, and then there was the who was the Bisbing and Henderson.
Forrest was a good one.
Mm.
Trying to think.
Who was coaching opposite St. Pierre when St. Pierre was on it? Because that was a decent one too.
It was in Bisbing.
No, Bisbing and it was Dan Henderson. Remember? And then they had the fight at UFC 100.
You know what?
When he knocked him out and he punched him again while he was on the ground, knocked out.
You know what?
Oh,
Even Chael Sonnen as a coach, I liked him.
he coached on Tough?
He did, yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Yep. I forgot he was fighting. Who was he fighting? Brazilian.
Nogueira? No. Shogun?
It wasn't Shogun. I forgot who.
Anyway, we're gonna be on this forever. If
But
you
yeah,
guys,
no,
if
I'm
you guys
telling
know,
you,
yes,
like,
tell
there's
us in
been
the
so
comments.
many good seasons, but the reason I love the first, like, I'd say 5 seasons the most, it was just pure chaos.
Yeah.
It's way different now. Now there's like proper challenges, like more order. But the first 5 seasons, it was like just
No.
these guys are gonna kill each other.
Yeah,
living
like they're all in a house.
of
They're all
chaos.
getting
Yeah.
they're all getting drunk.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna fight you tomorrow. Let's have 17 beers and just have a fight in the pool or whatever. It was
Yeah.
great. That's
Who
great
was it?
TV.
That guy that's like, oh, you're not gonna knock me out, and he's like, punch me.
In the closet,
yeah, got knocked out cold. I'm telling you, it was chaos.
People, go on YouTube and watch these tough highlights. It is hilarious, man. This is proper reality TV.
Yeah,
It
I'd say
was so good.
the first 5 seasons were probably my favorite.
Guys, we got to touch on, getting late in the episode, but we got to touch on the finals. Kicks off tomorrow.
Oh, geez, we totally forgot about that one. That would have been bad.
Yeah, we can't leave the NBA finals to next week. So we got to get our picks in today.
Denver in 5.
Denver in 5?
Yeah. I'll give Miami 1.
This one's a tough one for me because I kind of want to see. Obviously, I have Denver going into the series, but I really want to see how Miami plays.
I'm a little nervous. I'm surprised you guys are so more confident than I am because I've disrespected the Heat from day one, and the way they've pushed and actually they beat Milwaukee, they beat Boston. I think they're gonna give a little bit of trouble to Denver. Like, Miami's shooting the lights out the entire playoffs from 3.
What my take is on why I'm so confident is because Miami faced all flawed teams, and in the first round, I think there was a little bit of luck, and with the Giannis injury, I think there was a momentum shift. Yes, everyone's playing great, but I think there's just so many flaws in the East, and Denver is the most complete team, and they've proven it against every team they face, you know?
I hope so because I want to see Joker get its chip. So I think it's going to be Denver in 6.
There's no stopping Joker, to be honest, and he can score 30, 40 if he wants to. He's going to be pretty much averaging a triple-double again, right? He's going to be getting 15 boards. He's going to be scoring a ton, right? And then it all depends on the role players. And then just as much as Vincent and Strauss and these guys have been stepping up, look at Bruce, look at Brown, right? Stepping up. Look
Denver
at
can,
KCP.
Denver can definitely
right?
match the
So-
other guys for sure.
I just think, I think it should be pretty much a sweep, but I don't want to say sweep until I see at least them play one game.
This is one final where I'm actually good with whoever wins. I'm not going to hate the result either way. I'm happy if Butler gets it, and I'm happy if Joker gets it.
I think, I would agree with that. But I think it would be a bit of a big disappointment for the Denver Nuggets just because how heavy of a favorite they are. So I think it's going to sting a little bit if you're on that side of the fence just because they are, I think they're almost I think they were 8 points, but they could be double-digit favorites in game one.
Or you're just another Goliath that David took out.
Yeah, for sure.
I want Joker to win more, just because I think it does more for his legacy with the 2 MVPs, and if he can get a Finals MVP and a title, I just think he's an all-time great. Whereas Jimmy Butler, even with a chip, he's not an all-time great, right?
Yeah, it definitely does way more for Joker and defining his legacy.
And I think that because Joker is disrespected so much, I think even with a chip, he's going to be disrespected still. But now you have to put him in that conversation.
I think it changes the conversation a lot. I think Dirk got massive respect after he got his chip.
No, but he got massive respect even before the chip. The way that Joker's been disrespected year after year, they're just like, he's just a big guy. Like, look, he's not athletic. He can't even go up and down the floor. He can't defend, right? Like, everyone's saying everything about him.
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot, that Denver can defend, but I thought they did a pretty good job against the Lakers.
No, let's not bring that up. The Lakers just did it to themselves.
Well, I see this series going. I'm going to give Miami. I've disrespected them all year. I'm going to give them 2 games. I'm going to say Denver in 6.
Denver 6. I'm saying Denver 5. What do you think?
Right now, I'm going Denver sweep.
Denver sweep.
Well, I'm going to say this. Don't be surprised if Denver loses game 1. I think being off for that long and Miami coming in hot and shooting hot could be a recipe for, a game 1 win for Miami.
Yeah. That tends to be a thing in sports.
Yeah,
happens more often than usual. Yeah. Did we do our Stanley Cup prediction?
No, we haven't.
We talked about it, but we didn't do a prediction.
Only I gave my prediction.
He did. You said Vegas, right?
I said Vegas.
This is a tough one. I think I was leaning Florida. My heart says Florida, but if I'm betting money, I'm going to say it's Vegas.
Okay, you're not betting money.
When I bet money, it's going to be Vegas in 7.
I was going to say Vegas in 7 too.
Wow. I'm surprised. I thought both of you guys would say Florida.
That could probably change in about 4 days, considering how our predictions are just blowing up in our face every single day.
Yeah, if you guys look at our track record, I don't think it's been the greatest in the past couple weeks.
Yeah, not good. I'm going to stop putting these belligerent predictions up on Instagram. It's embarrassing at this point. And if you lost money because of us, that's on you, man. We
this is not betting advice. Not yet, anyways.
Yeah. Watch when we start putting parlays up on Instagram. Then you can start saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring those to you guys later in the year.
Yeah, that's when you start saving those loonies right now. All right, episode 4. I think we wrap it up. That was a good one. Again, watch-alongs are coming soon. The finals are just around the corner, so we should. I think. Well, NBA is tomorrow, so it's not gonna be tomorrow. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do 1 game, especially if you guys thinking it's gonna be a sweep or 5 games. We'll think of something quick.
Yeah,
but we'll definitely get 1 game in.
Yeah, so keep an eye on Instagram, Twitter for any news on that. We'll let you know what's going on, and then again, hit that like, subscribe, share.
Yeah, we appreciate the love. Make sure you spread the word.
Yeah, it's been great. We really appreciate it. It's doing a lot better than we had anticipated. So thank you guys for the support, and just continue to follow us on our socials. We'll have updates for you on everything that's going on with the cast, and then we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.